Yeah, 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 Urko. Hey, 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 look.
Yeah, what's going on? I go by the name of Steph Urkel, and welcome back to another episode of the Millennial Dungeon. How's everybody doing this beautiful weekend? No, I had a great weekend. I'm Steph, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host.
Sylvette, hello.
Hey, what's up, Sylvia? How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
You know what I'm about to say.
Say
Say it.
it.
Should I? Okay, one time. I'm kicking it like a donkey and trying to be funky.
You said it.
Like the episode of Family Guy. Like, he said it.
Ah!
I'm telling you, I'm trying to get that made to a shirt. I'm gonna make some money off this.
Don't forget me. I was there.
You was there. Still you a
I
few
was
dollars.
there.
But let's jump right into it. So we're gonna be talking about voting, and we're gonna be reacting to a video. Now, obviously, as you know, the elections are approaching. In November, and we gotta get out here, people. You know what I'm saying? This ain't something we should wait till last minute. So I'm talking right now. I'm talking to all my people in Pennsylvania. The election for U.S. Senate of Pennsylvania, and also election of governor of Pennsylvania. No, we gotta get out there. If you want trying to do some research, it's easy. Like we talked about last episode, it takes like 5 minutes to do some research on who's running. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So this is not something that's hard to do. And if you're looking at the U.S. Senate of Pennsylvania, obviously you should know what Dr. Oz.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And I think John Fetterman
yeah,
for the Democrat.
yep. And
So, and also,
go
oh,
ahead,
sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
I just wanted to mention some important dates really quick before we get into the video.
Mm-hmm.
So, as people probably know, the election is November 8th, but if you're not registered to vote yet, the deadline for that is October 24th, and you
Mm-hmm.
can do that online. And you can also just bring in your application to your county voter registration office. And then also, if you want to get a mail-in ballot or an absentee ballot, I think the deadline for that is November 1st at 5 p.m.
Yep.
So, and when you get that, you want to make sure that you get that mail-in ballot to your office by November 8th at 8 p.m. So doesn't matter if it's post dated or anything, it has to be received by then. And if you want any information on how to register and stuff like that, you can just go to vote.pa.gov
Yep.
for Pennsylvania. And I think if we have viewers nationally, whatever, you can go to usa.gov to also find out information about like your state and how to like the deadlines and stuff for that.
Exactly. You know, and this is something we talked about on last episode. This is something to take serious, people. Obviously, as I discussed last time about the U.S. Senate, the people that passed those amendments, the people that passed those bills that people complain about. If you really care about who's passing these bills and who's passing these amendments that affect your everyday life, you will care about more about the Senate. And obviously,
Mm-hmm.
governor, I don't even have to get into why the governor of your state is important. Another person that passed these laws.
Mm-hmm. And the other state representatives too. It's a
Yeah,
lot that is up on the ballot for this election. So get out there, people.
yeah. And it takes like 5-10 minutes a day. This is something that you can look on your
Mm-hmm.
phone. Very easy, people. Even if you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to know who's running in California. You don't have to know who's running in Arizona, which will be nice. But if you want to start small, just find out who's just running for U.S. governor or U.S. Senate in your neck of the woods. So the video that we're gonna be reacting to, obviously, is called "No Voting, No Bucking." I repeat, bucking with a B, people, because the people gonna be
With
like,
a
"Ooh."
B.
People getting all sensitive and stuff. So basically, it's a song by
Mm-hmm.
Saucy Santana and the rapper Trina, and it's basically a song. It's kind of like a parody, trying to get people to use a black online dating app, but also get people to vote. And basically, they're saying the message they're trying to put out in the video is if you're not voting, then you're not getting no poom poom, no cooter, no nanny. That's what they're trying to put in, and like just watch the video for yourself, and it's just like how they try to be sexualized, like trying to vote in it and stuff. Like if you vote, then you're gonna get you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Trey Tracks, I think we got one.
It's voting season, bruh.
No voting, no loving. No voting, no touching. No voting, no nothing. No voting, no fucking. No voting, no fucking. No voting, no loving. No voting, no touching. No voting, no nothing. No voting, no fucking. No voting, no fucking. BLK app looking for some action. Swear the homie Scott was heading. Face is a 9, abs a 10, D is a to be determined. He got mad jokes, he don't seem broke. The only red flag, he said he don't vote. This midterms for all the single cuties. Wanna hit this booty, gotta do your civic duty. No voting, no loving. No voting, no touching. No voting, no nothing. No voting, no fucking. No voting, no fucking. No voting, no loving. No voting, no touching. No voting, no nothing. No voting, no fucking, no voting, no fucking.
Yeah, don't stop now. Stuff my ballot box again, but my homegirl through. Put the buy in partisan. Politics be so nasty. Make me wanna flirt ya, show you how to be a poll worker. Legs in the air, I don't care. Anyone could get it, universal health care. If you wanna come before the deadline. Come in the jacuzzi, gerrymander this coochie.
No voting, no love, no voting, no touch. No voting, no nothing.
No nothing.
Can't let me down, gotta stand up for something. No voting, no love, no voting, no touch. No voting, no nothing. BLK, we gon' stand up for something. Yeah, that's right. No voting, no loving. If the coochie is the goal, go hit the pose. Period.
So
Mhm.
I watched it a few times just to get like a deeper understanding of like why it was made. But I'm gonna ask you. So, what did you think when you first watched the video?
I was surprised, honestly. Like it made me think of that Senator Tierra Mack from Rhode
Hmm.
Island who was twerking to get votes.
Yeah.
And I will admit, when we did that topic, I was like, oh, that's why would she do that? That's ridiculous. But after I watched the video a few times, I was like, you know what? If it gets people interested in voting, I can't really be too mad at it. Like I'm reading the comments of the video, people were like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna register, I'm gonna get into this, like I'm gonna go vote. So even though the execution and the delivery might not be the best, the message is go out and vote. So I can't really be too mad at it.
I see where you trying to go with that. Like I said, I had to watch it a few times. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mm-hmm.
get where you're saying, like the message like gets people to go out and vote, but it's just like I think my problem with it was it's like why did we have to sexualize something political? You know what I'm saying? Just to get people to interested?
Mm-hmm.
Because like we be talking about this in a few episodes of like how especially like in our community, like people really don't care about voting or like especially now like nobody cares about who's running for office or who's running for mayor, who's running for district attorney and stuff like that. We think it's a joke and stuff. But then like a video like this comes up, or even the Tierra Mac thing and stuff like that, which is used for entertainment and like as a marketing strategy to get people interested in voting. But it's just like, yeah, but like why you had to sexualize it in order for people to care? And the sad part about it is it worked. Because if you looked at the video, it got over like 660,000 views on that, or over like
Mm-hmm.
1K comments. The same thing with the Tierra Mac thing. Like her following went up like crazy off TikTok just because of that. And it's just like I feel like we got asked like the black community or in ourselves too. It's just like, do we need like a do we need entertainment for us to really care about the politics? What's your thoughts on that?
Um, I guess on the one hand, I do see how it can put the Black community in a negative light because it makes it seem as if we only care if it has like a good beat to it and it's like flashy and attention grabbing. Like we don't have the capability to actually like take in information in a more intellectual way, I guess.
Mhm.
It has to be not necessarily dumbed down, but it has to be presented in a way that is more like engaging. But at the same time, I could also see how maybe for a lot of people in the Black community, they never felt like politics was really our domain, like it was something made for us anyway. So it's like, how can you really feel compelled to be involved into something that you don't feel like serves you? So I do also understand like why like this video and like the Tierra Mac thing and stuff, like I understand why that's also that approach too, because maybe it's a way to get people involved in something that they don't necessarily see themselves in.
Mhm.
Um, so it's kind of, for me, it's kind of like I could see both sides of it. Like I understand why some people would be frustrated by it, but then I also understand why other people think that it's a necessary way to approach something like voting.
Right. See,
What do you
like,
think?
like I said before, when I watched it a few times too, like the way I analyze it is too, it's like, okay, y'all doing this for as a marketing strategy, right? And y'all trying to the whole point of it is to get people to vote. But I feel like it was the execution because if you're saying that we need to sexualize, or you're promoting to that we need to sexualize the strategy of trying to get people to vote, you're basically saying like, oh, you should vote because you're going to get something out of it. You know what I'm saying? Or like, oh yeah, you're going to get some kind of entertainment out of it as long as you vote. You know, but it's like that's not the your main like priority to vote. You get what I'm saying? It's like people
Oh
should want
yeah, I
to,
definitely agree
yeah.
with that.
Yeah, it's like because like you should want to vote because obviously one you have the choice to, and that's like your obligation to vote and try to make a change within like your area or your country. But also, it's just like you shouldn't be voting just because like, oh shoot, then I'm gonna get some kind of prize, whether like in the video, some kind of sexual prize. Like if you look even near like the last like 50 seconds of it, it was just basically saying like, oh, if you vote, then you're gonna get some, you know what I'm saying, some poom poom, you know?
Hmm.
So it's just like, but that's not why you should vote though. You shouldn't vote because you're gonna get some kind of, as a dating strategy. You should vote
Yeah.
because it's the right thing to do. And it's like you really don't really see that in other cultures when it comes to like, oh, getting some kind of reward out of it. Obviously, you should vote because you know the person who benefits their community and stuff like that. If they're going to make change when it comes to amendments or laws getting passed, of course they try to get something out of that. But it's just like I feel like other races or cultures like really don't need the like kind of flash or kind of entertainment in order to get us to be like, maybe I need to vote for this senator or this mayor. I feel like for us, since we're not really used to caring about politics a lot, or is not being like the forefront in our community as being cool, I feel like it's kind of like something that we gotta try to dress up or flash to make it more interesting. It's kind of like that teacher that like you had in school that try to make math seem cool by trying to be funny or try to tell little jokes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's like, come on, dude. At the end of the day, it's still geometry. Like, just get right to it. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
but
I definitely see that, but then I also see like, the whole like any means necessary type of thing. Like if you want people to be interested in voting and you want to have more people be involved, sure, it may come off as like pandering and ignorant, but if it's going to get people to the polls, then
which pole?
mm.
You gotta think which pole.
But like, I mean, the song did mention like things like gerrymandering and bipartisanship and stuff like that. Sure, the way they said it was like in an innuendo type of way,
Mhm.
but maybe that would get people to look it up. Like, oh, what is gerrymandering? What is bipartisanship? Like, what does that mean? And then like sure, it's a stupid song. Well, not necessarily like a stupid song, but sure, like the execution of it is not the best, but maybe it will spark an interest in somebody to like look into it and be more involved because I think it's easy to say like, oh, this is messed up. Like, why are they doing this? But at the same time, it's like, well, how else are you going to get people engaged? Like, what else is there? How else have people like? I'm sure there have been other ways to try to get the Black community interested in voting, and I don't know if it necessarily worked, and I don't know if this will necessarily make change either. But it's like you gotta figure out the like how you're gonna market voting in a way that makes people think that it's something that not only they want to do but something they should do.
Yeah.
And like I definitely understand what you're saying. Like you shouldn't vote because you want to find somebody and like get some. You should vote because it's your civic duty to do that. But I think that might be speaking in terms that people understand too. Like, for instance, why should you shower? Because you don't want to stink and you don't want to be disgusting and gross. But a lot of people will also point out, well, you want to get a girl, don't you? Well, you gotta be clean, you gotta smell nice, you gotta have a job because don't you want to get a girl and have money and all this stuff? So like, sure, it shouldn't take that, but if that is like a stepping stone to get people in that direction, then I'm not like totally opposed to it, I guess.
Yeah. You remember those videos like years ago, like with Michelle Obama with like a basketball team, like LeBron James or like a Steph
Mm-hmm.
Curry, and then it shows her playing basketball with them like on the mini court in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
Like videos like that, like I like seeing stuff like that that give it like that little flash, but also it's not like making a joke out of like taking like voting serious. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like you're catering to the Black community by what? Having the president's wife play basketball?
I mean, they're
Like,
basketball
it's
players.
still kind of, well, yeah, but it's like you're using sports to try to
Yeah.
get people into it, So it's like, sure, it's a little bit more respectable, but
Yeah.
you're still using like stereotypical things to try to get Black people into voting instead of just saying, like, this is the information and
Mhm.
you should go vote,
Yeah. Yeah.
So if anything, I feel like it's a us thing. Like we have to be better as a community and with our standards because like remember when Hillary Clinton came, she was running for president and she's like, "Oh, I got hot sauce in my bag," like saying
Yeah.
stupid stuff like that to
Yeah.
Black voters.
Yeah.
Like, why would you say that? Like, why would you think that, oh, she used hot sauce too, I'm gonna vote for her? Like it's not like a Black thing.
Yeah.
And I think that because of maybe the way we present ourselves and the things that we show interest in, it makes other people think that they can make certain comments and references as if that's going to get our attention and that's like an appropriate thing to do.
Mhm.
So it's like, if people weren't responding to this stuff, then I don't think they would even do it. I don't think they would even make a song like this or a video like this if it didn't show that people actually respond to it. So I think that like we just have to have better standards as a community so that Saucy Santana and Trina don't gotta be like, doing all this stuff because like what the heck?
Right. Though. It was a lot in that video. I'm like, huh? Like
I'm like material girl. Like what is this? Like what?
Do you like really like see like entertainers or stuff like videos or ads where like politicians actually like walking up to like the people and just talking to them, or just like trying to have a conversation with them?
Not off the top of my head that I can think of.
Yeah. So.
But I do think that that would also be effective too, because I just think a big part of it is that people don't see themselves in it. Like people don't see how voting can actually benefit them.
Yeah.
They don't see any like positive changes in their communities and things like that. So it's like, oh, well, I don't trust, there's some people who don't even vote at all or not even registered because they think like, oh, I don't trust that. They're not going to do anything. Like nothing's going to change. And I think that well, first of all, that's not a really good mindset to have. But I also feel like if we're more active in like demanding certain changes and
Yeah.
showing that it's not just complaining about the issue, but it's actually doing something to fix the issue, then we would be taken more seriously and we wouldn't have to have these like videos. And people would probably have more ads or go out into the community more and actually have discussions with people and like talk about what are the issues, what kind of things are you facing in your communities, what changes do you want to see. But I think like we're not really taking looked at as serious, and so like, okay, why would they want to talk to us? What are we gonna say?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And it's like you said before, I think we need to evaluate what changes and like what standards we set for ourselves in our community where we think that we have to be presented this certain material in order for us to care about
Mm-hmm.
something that's so important. Like we got to ask ourselves, well, why do I feel like I need this? It's like somebody that's getting over addiction, like a drug or alcohol or something like that. It's like you gotta think deeper. Like, why do I feel I need this in order? You know what I'm saying? In order for the pain
Mm-hmm.
to go away. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I feel like it's like you said, I feel like we kind of lean on it on like certain stuff like that, like entertainment, like things like that try to seem deem as cool in order for us to care about certain things. But it's just like we gotta evaluate why we need that stuff because this is stuff that you
Mm-hmm.
should already care about. So it's you should want to raise your standards and not just like as a grown person. I feel like we need to start doing that at a younger age too, like getting kids like even in middle school and stuff like why they should like really pay attention to certain things, like little things within their community, not even just like presidential, like things like why you should start caring about the mayor, why you should, what does the district attorney do, what does this certain
Mm-hmm.
person do, like so that way as they get older, they going to start to realize and have like more techniques and materials to know that voting really does matter. Otherwise, people
Mm-hmm.
work so hard to try to keep black people from not voting.
Exactly. Why would they
So
not want you to?
So I just want people just to really start evaluating and caring more about voting and not try to find or look for a excuse or a way to be entertained by your favorite celebrity. Be like, oh, they just made a video talking about basketball, or they just made a video talking about I can get some ads just from voting. No,
Mm-hmm.
you should go out and vote to the polls because it matters. Because voting matters. You shouldn't
I do
be.
have a question. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
So for you, does it matter who was in the song? Like if it were a different artist or if the subject was different, like it wasn't necessarily like, oh, you can't have sex if you don't vote. Like if it was still like a rap that was like, oh, you should vote for this reason, would you feel differently about it?
I would be on still like on the fence too. Cause I give you an example. Like one of my favorite rappers, Young Jeezy, right? He's one of my favorite. Remember that song when
Mm-hmm.
Barack Obama first was elected as president? It's called My President is Black.
Yeah.
Man, my president, you know what I'm saying? When that first came out and stuff, it was a catchy song. I'm like, okay, I get what he's saying and stuff like that. But it's just like, even like as I got older, I'm starting to think it's like, damn, like we really like needed that song in order to be like, oh shit, like yeah, we got in. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I had to start thinking about it. It's like, did we really need a rap song in order to really care about something so historic as getting a black president? I'm like, it was cool. It was something that
Mm-hmm.
it was a marketing strategy, but it's like it's something you really don't need in order to start caring about something. Or like, or you know those little ads that like remember when you was a kid, those Dare ads or commercials like why not to smoke or drink
Yeah.
and something like that, and they had a little catchy tune or melody in it. It's just like, no, you shouldn't need a 45-second video to know why you shouldn't pick up a pack of Newports. Smoking is bad for you. It can kill you. You don't need a giraffe singing about it. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
I I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's just like entertainment is cool and getting people to get the message by any means necessary is fine. It's just we just gotta be realistic on what our standards is to order to learn about it. Like you,
Yeah.
people
Also,
need
too, I
to.
guess the more we're talking about it, it's kind of like I could talk about this probably for hours. But I
Yeah,
also feel like the Black community, like we're all not the same way. Like we all don't think the same way and feel the same way. So I feel like while there are some people who can watch that video and be like, "Oh, this is so ridiculous. This is so dumb," and then some people will be like, "Oh, this is like this beat and everything. Oh, I like it." So I also think it goes into like the respectability politics too. Like because you're Black, you feel like you have to be so like formal and present yourself a certain way. But like, why do you have to do that? So that white people don't think you're ghetto and stuff? Like, a part of me kind of feels like, who cares? Like, if that's the way that you want to express your point of view and try to get other people to understand your point of view, I don't necessarily think like that's wrong, like that's bad, but I do think that you should be open and accepting to the way that people are going to perceive you. Like if you do this, like that song, that video and stuff, if people think like less of you for liking it or like that's what got you into voting, I think that it's nothing wrong with it, but you have to be okay with that coming back to you. But I don't necessarily think it's like the worst thing in the world because like I think it's hard enough being Black as it is, and then also having to try to be like perfect all the time and always being like diplomatic and formal and proper and all that. Like if that's not you, that's not you. And I don't think that you should necessarily be like looked down on for that or be like, oh, they're not serious because they may be, they may be smart and they may know a lot about this like politics and the government and stuff. And maybe the execution isn't in the best way, but I don't think that it should necessarily be like dismissed either. So I think that like part of the Black community is like we are flashy and extravagant and like that is kind of part of our identity also. And I think if people lean into that, they shouldn't be dismissed for it. It just does like, you have people who are a little bit more like, like the Barack Obamas who are like articulate and educated and well spoken and all that. Like I don't think that's the only way to be, or like that's the only way to get the message across, I guess.
So I guess my last thing is to vote for the right reasons. People go out and vote. Don't be distracted. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you look up the certain policies on who you're voting for, what they stand for, and vote because it's the right thing to do. People don't try to look. Don't try to look at the certain person and be like, well, how can they sell it to me? Vote because it matters.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you should do.
And do it for you.
Exactly. Don't try look for somebody to try to sell it to you like it's a brand new car. Try to vote because it's the right thing to do. And if you want to learn more, do more research on it, just do it yourself. It takes 5 minutes. You use this for anything else, so
for the dating app.
Yeah, exactly. You use it for Tinder, you use it for Bumble, you use it for everything else. So why not? That's all I got to say. Anything you got?
I guess I agree. Just don't let other things influence your decisions. Like if you are passionate about something and it makes you want to vote a certain way, then do that. Don't vote because this song or whatever is telling you how you should vote or how you should think or feel. Like, sure, use it as a reference or whatever, but like you said, do your part and do your due diligence and actually look into it and make sure that you make decisions according to that.
Right. With that being said, I'll go by the name of Steph Urkel and
Sylvette.
And this has been another episode of Millennial Dungeon. Peace.
Bye.
Yeah. Urkel.